Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. And you tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. What's going on with you, my guy?
Man, I'm good, yo. Like I am. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm in a good mood today. I ain't
That's
even
what's
front.
up.
I'm
I
in a good
like to hear
mood today,
that.
man. Things been going good today. You know what I'm saying? We got good weather. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? At work, I wasn't that busy today. You know what I'm saying? It was sort of a light
Nice.
day, so shit been going well, man. But how about yourself? How you been feeling?
Man, you know what? The good bug ain't the only one that bit you, man. You know what I'm saying? It bit me too, brother. I am also, you know what I'm saying? I'm also doing good, man. I got some new camera equipment, you know what I'm saying? I showed you off air, man, and you know what I'm saying? I'm geeked. I can't wait to use it. You know what I'm saying? We got a little warm weather today as well, and I also had an easy day at work, man. I'm talking about super easy. Dang near probably didn't even have to do nothing to be honest with you, but I did some stuff anyway, but it was a great day, man. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed today, man. I can't complain, man.
That's what's up, man. That's good to hear. I know you was telling me some things off air about
Oh man.
yeah, about the things that you got lined up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
sir.
I am definitely happy to hear that shit, man.
I
Um,
appreciate it, man.
because I hear what I heard. Excuse me, the excitement in your voice
Mm-hmm.
and the thing, man. It's creators, man. Like
Yeah, man.
you gotta be one to understand and to feel it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, man. I heard it in your voice, and it's just like I love that type of motivation, man.
For sure, man. Listen, man, it's one of them things that, you know what I'm saying? Like I tell people, man, I got so many creative people around me, you know what I'm saying? You being one of them, my little cousins being, you know what I'm saying, two of them. Um, even, you know what I'm saying, like my little sister, man, like she don't really create per se, but you know what I'm saying, like even when she just like what listening to her just walk around the house singing sometimes it get me in that mode to just be like, man, I just want to secretly record her and put her on the beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, man, it's just, it's so much. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it, man. It's just so much stuff out here for us to do and for us to be a part of. I just feel so excited, man, being able to dibble and dabble in, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of everything, man. For those who know, you know what I'm saying, I really do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it probably ain't nothing on the internet that I ain't done yet. I done did live streams, I done did pods, videos, photos, you know what I'm saying, graphic designs. I done did game streaming. I done did OnlyFans, the offsets of OnlyFans, Twitters, and you know what I'm saying, all kind of stuff, man. So it's fun to me. It's one of those things that, you know, a lot of people will tell you, man, you know, you should get into this and you should like it's to me that's like when people used to tell you, man, if it feels like work, it, you know what I'm saying, it ain't for you. But you know what I'm saying, when you go to it every day, even if you working and you go to it every day and you love it, then you know what I'm saying, that's what you're supposed to be doing. And this is one of those things I'm supposed to be doing. I done did music, you know what I'm saying. Uh, Man, I got an album on the way. You know what I'm saying? April 7th. I'm excited about it. Hip. I can't even say. I done made the word up. It can't even say it. Hip hop calypse. You know what I'm saying? Another dance album on the way. I done help people produce. I done help people rap. I done been on mix. I probably on like 7 mixtapes by now. And then you know what I'm saying, and just out here just doing everything, man. I'm getting around, man. I'm like a creative hooker.
That's funny. A creative hooker. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
man. But it's just fun, man. You know, it's one of those things that like, you know, you get to actually make something, man. Like, and it's so dope. like that's the best thing about, you know what I'm saying, like doing this pod 2 days a week, bro. Is like we really get to sit down and create and make something, bro, like that people are actually listening to, and we getting feedback, and people are, you know what I'm saying, liking and sharing, and man, it's so dope, bro. Like just the fact that we connecting with all of these different people that we don't even know, and that we, you know what I'm saying, every time we drop an episode, somebody is listening to it, bro. It's just it's delightful, bro. Like I love it, man. I love it.
I do too, man. And I was getting some feedback from someone, and they was like, "Yo, like I can hear it, like in y'all voices, like how much y'all enjoy this shit."
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, and like even like, and I probably don't say this enough, but like for me, like you said, you do a lot of shit. Like you went down the list of a lot, all of the shit that you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, I'm just really, just really in this podcast space and just really just putting things out that I just love to speak on. And
Mm-hmm.
like for you, in which I don't know why it sounds crazy to me, but like just for you to show up twice a week and like do this shit, we're going
Yeah.
on like, wait a minute, I always get this fucked
Shit.
up. This
It's
wait,
three
is this the
years.
third year? Yeah, three.
This
Yeah,
three
3 years.
years. Yeah.
It's like to be doing this shit 3 years and like you know what I'm saying, you show up every time. It's just like because we've had discussions in the past about some other shit, and it's just like,
Yep.
yo, it's like we are the ones that consistently show up and
Mm-hmm.
like do this shit.
Always.
And it's like seeing how some things have went with others, it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? You kind of expect, oh, well, this shit probably gonna happen too. Cause it's like, for
Mm-hmm.
me, like when we were doing like the 4-3 or whatever, we're doing the 4-3, we're doing Viewers Anonymous, and I'm doing motherfucking 28. And they're like, damn, boy, like
Absolutely.
you always potting. I was like, yo, I fucking
Absolutely.
love this shit, yo.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? He just like every week, like we doing this shit. And it's just to me, it's an amazing thing for me, man, because like I'm
Absolutely, man.
because like you said, like to me this isn't work. Like something I've loved to do since I was a kid was watch movies, and I always wanted to
Mm-hmm.
share my thoughts, but like nobody was never that interested that I was, and like to have this space to be able to come on here and do this shit, and you know what I'm saying, with somebody that's engaging back and just as much
Mm-hmm.
as in this shit as I am, shit is a blessing, dude. So I
And you got
appreciate
people worldwide listening to. We got people in Spain listening to us, man. That's crazy.
that. That shit is crazy. That
You
shit
know what I'm
really is
saying? That's
crazy.
wild, man. I don't even know if people in Kenya understand what we saying, but they understand. People in people in Serbia is listening to us, and I definitely know they don't understand what we saying, but they listening, so that's dope, man.
That's
Um,
funny.
we in Serbia, bro. I looked at that and I was tripping. We got one listen in Serbia. Whoever you are in Serbia, thank you. I don't know who you are, but thank you. That is wild to me, bro. Serbia.
Yo,
Who is the last person? Who is we got a best one that was it Zerbiak or was it Stojakovic?
Wally Zerbiak.
Wasn't
I
he from
remember Wally
Serbia?
Zerbiak. I don't remember where he from, man. They over
One
there
of them was
somewhere.
from Serbia, man. But listen here, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. We appreciate it to everybody who listening, but especially you from Serbia. You are the one, cause that blew my
Wow.
mind. I forgot Serbia was a place until I seen that. I was like, oh shit.
Yo, this is I forgot Serbia was a place.
No, for real, man. Like I think it was Wally Zerbiak, man. But I'm serious. Like I really forgot that Serbia was a country until I seen that shit on there. It was like, damn, bro, I ain't heard that. I ain't heard that in a minute. But
It's crazy, dude. It's really crazy. Cause
yeah,
I'm gonna tell you something.
yeah, man.
Like I was just sitting there looking at my like 28. Like it says 12% of my listeners is from France.
Come on, man. This
The
niggas in
fuck?
France. Parlay
And it
foo
says
with you. What
seven.
you
It
saying,
says
bro?
seven. It says 7% is Germany.
Come on, man. The Deutsch.
The
Nigga, you know, as soon as they disagree with what you saying, they like nine, nine, nine. Come on, man.
Oh man, but
Man,
no,
nah, man. But listen,
it's
man.
crazy,
Shout out
dude.
to all the listeners, man. It's I'm
Yes,
talking
sir.
about from viewers anonymous to 28 to 43, all that, man. Thank you guys so much, because this is something we don't get a chance to do a lot, and I just wanted to take time to say thank you guys, because you really don't understand how much, you know what I'm saying, how much joy you guys bring to us, to know that you are actually listening to this pod and you are tuned into this pod. And even if you don't engage or whatever the case may be, the fact that you listen is enough for me. And I'm sure you feel the same, bro. Like, it's so
Hmm.
great just to know that we putting out something that people enjoy, and not only enjoy, but just like all the movies that we've covered so far. I'm sure it's a movie out there somewhere where somebody seen that and was like, "Oh, this is my joint." Happened to listen to it and end up becoming, what I'm saying, a listener and a fan. So thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys. Um, but let's go ahead and move on to one of our favorite segments, one of the favorite segments that we came up with, and hopefully one of the favorite segments of the listeners out there. Is called What We Watching. Shout out to Casey for the intro, by the way. Let's
Yes,
get
sir.
into it.
Let's do it.
What we
What we
watching?
watching?
What we watching?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So do you have what we watching?
Yeah, man. I've been holding on to it for like 3 weeks, man, because I've been having some
Yeah.
wild ones come up, man. Like some shit that I had to get off my chest.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a show. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been involved in. Trying to think, did it start in 2017 or 2015? Anyway, you know how I'm into the Power universe. You
Yeah.
didn't get into it, but I'm knee deep in this shit.
Yeah.
Power Book 2, Ghost, you know what I'm saying? Season 3. I'm 4 episodes in now, but man, motherfucking Tariq, man, that motherfucker.
But everybody hate that
Man,
nigga, man.
well, you
What
know
did he
what though?
do?
He's starting to flip now. Like people are starting to like the tide is starting to turn a little bit on him. I
Oh,
think
they
he's
fucking with
starting
him
to
now.
become. Yeah, like people fucking with him now because now there's other people to hate. So it's like, so it's it's
Okay. Okay. I respect that.
it's like, but then it's just like he still does like little things that be like, come on, dude, like what are you really doing? But like, I'm gonna tell you who killing it though, man. And I didn't like him through the first 2 seasons, but I'm starting to like him more now. But it's this dude Kane, which is played by Woody the Great. Yo, let me tell you something. Woody the Great, man, is becoming a really, really good fucking actor, man. And a
Yeah.
lot of y'all know him from doing little, you know what I'm saying? I think he was on Vine, if I'm not mistaken. It was either Vine or, well, he came up on the internet, basically. Woody the Great
Okay.
did.
Okay.
And like now, like he's on here, and like he was annoying because like everything he was doing, he was always trying to be in competition with Tariq. And
Mm-hmm.
now he's starting to become his own person now. So that's the one good thing about that. But like, yeah, it's some other people to hate now. Like, so people people
Okay.
people are starting to come around on Tariq. And so shout out to that show. And the other thing that I just watched the first episode last night. I'm surprised you never told me about this, but I'm only one episode in, so because I watched the trailer and the trailer enticed me.
Mm-hmm.
It's an Apple show, and it is Truth Be Told. It got Olivia Spencer in it. It got Makai Pfeiffer in it.
Okay.
Um
Shit, you getting in here with
oh,
something.
oh shit, man, who's the other my dude, man, I forget his name. He was in everything, and I always forget his name. But so basically, it got Aaron Paul in it.
Okay.
It
Okay.
got Lizzie Kaplan in it, yo. And you
Oh
know
wow.
that's a fucking name that I forgot when we did our whole little thing the other day. You know what I'm talking about? I forgot about Lizzie
Oh
Kaplan.
yeah. 5 white
But
women. Yeah.
yeah, so basically, so Aaron Paul been locked up since he was 15 years old.
Okay.
For he's accused of killing someone.
Mm-hmm.
And Olivia Spencer was a writer at a well, not a writer, but a reporter for a newspaper, and that case got her to blow up, and now she does a podcast. And so
Okay.
she
Wow,
ended
that's
up
crazy.
seeing, I know, right? So she ended up seeing the tape of the girl that testified against the Aaron Paul character, and come to find out she was coached. So he's been in prison for
Mm-hmm.
18 years at this point. And so Olivia Spencer was like, yo, like I fucked up and I have to find a way to get him out of jail because I believe that there's an innocent man locked up behind bars. So she goes to go see him. And now keep in mind, 15 years old, and he was trialed as an adult, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's in there with grown ass men at 15 years old.
That's
So
crazy.
from what we know, you kind of gotta pick a side. You don't want to be solo and
Mm-hmm.
all this shit. So when he
Yeah, stay
he he
safe.
yeah, he recognized her when she came to come see him. And the very first thing he
Mm-hmm.
does is like he rolls up his sleeves and show her a swastika on his wrist, and then he has
Ooh.
another one, right? So she fucking walks out. But then she has a conversation with the dude's mom, and she's dying of cancer. She's the one that got her to go back and look into it, but she don't
Mm-hmm.
want her son to know she's dying of cancer. So she's like, "Look, basically, you know how this goes. He had to go with somebody so he didn't get, what I'm saying, beat down in there and all this type shit." So she was like, and at the same time, he
Right.
was impressionable. He went in at 15 years old. So what her mom is saying, like,
Mm-hmm.
he might not really even be a racist like that. He just probably playing the part. So you know what I mean. So he don't get fucked
Real
up.
quick, I worked with a dude like that.
That went to jail early. What do you mean?
He went to jail at 20. He got out at 28. And he like the job I'm at now, he just quit like last year. But he got a fucking German tattoo on his back,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever it say, it's supposed to be some Nazi shit.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle, like in the middle of it, is the you know how they had the eagle with the swastika over it?
Yep.
Is that. So one day he was outside, it's hot as fuck. He outside, he take his shirt off and he got a beater on, he outside working and shit, and somebody seen that shit. So when they seen it, they reported it to the office, and he had to explain to them what the fuck that was. Like he was telling them, like, "Yo, it was from when I was locked up and da da da." But the crazy part is, like, this you would never think this motherfucker would have had a tattoo because all he hang around is niggas.
And that's what I'm saying. And like I say, I'm one episode in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like just seeing the cast that's even in it. It's like, yo, like this is
Yeah.
a great fucking cast. And I think it's a great story. And like the trailers show, you know what I'm saying, showed me a lot of shit. So that's what I just started. I can't give y'all really any more information. But like but they're on season 3. And I've never, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I just really started with Apple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
but
You
yes,
definitely
but
gotta check that out though.
yeah, so I'm at season 1, episode 1, but they're in the 3rd season now. So
Okay.
so check out Truth Be Told on Apple TV Plus.
For sure, man. So I got two as well. So my first one is John Wick 4. Went to go see it, and it did not disappoint. Um, Keanu Reeves, man. I told you last episode or I think we spoke before that. I don't think you even said it on the last episode, but we got to talk about Keanu Reeves. You know what? I know we didn't talk about it because it was Snowfall, but we got to talk about Keanu Reeves and where he sits in the all-time action hero or action movie list, because
Hmm.
like this dude, his characters in action movies are badass, but like seeing him at 60 and doing what he's doing in John Wick 4, hey man, yo, I'm talking. action. Excuse me, action packed, man. Him. Shout out to Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is a you know what I'm saying, one of those dudes that's been in kung fu movies forever. If you don't know Donnie Yen, if you ever seen It Man, he's definitely a part of that movie franchise. But yo, this movie was amazing, bro. Like they showed out with John Wick 4. Hopefully we can get a John Wick 5. This I would not be mad if we get a John Wick 5. Um, but it's fingers crossed. But definitely go if you get a chance, go see John Wick 4. It's still in theaters right now. It's action packed, man. It's everything you wanted it to be. Um, the dope part about Keanu Reeves is the fact that he's been a part of so many different trends and movements in action movies. So like I remember when the Matrix came and then they did the bullet time shit and he was a part of the Matrix and being a part of that whole bullet time movement where they was trying to like add that into movies and shit. And then now he's doing it to where being in John Wick, they're calling it gun fu to where it's like kung fu and guns and shit mixed it like he like this movie is this man I don't know how to really explain it. It's fire, bro. Like everything that they're doing in this shit is dope as fuck. So if you guys get a chance, go out and check John Wick 4. This is one I won't spoil for you because it's in theaters. I really want to, but I will not do it because it's in theaters. But this movie was amazing. Just know that John Wick killed 75% of France. Okay, like this nigga's body count is crazy. Like I'm talking about. I mean, bullets left and right, flying kicks, swords, nunchucks, chains, knives, explosives, cars, motorcycles. I mean, everything you look for in an action movie is in John Wick 4, and it's hella bodies dropping. Just know that. So go check that out. And then my second one is also on Apple TV. It's called Tomorrowland. Um, the cast escapes my mind, but it is a great show. I'm only on episode 3 for right now, but it's so far so good. I guess it's set. The setting it seems to be like the early 40s, or well, not the early 40s, but like the 40s, 50s ish type thing, where like they creating like all of these new inventions and stuff like that, and it's about this guy who's like this super salesman or whatever. But you guys go check this out, go look into it. It's a great show. If you have Apple TV, it's one of those ones to watch. It's called Tomorrowland, and that's all I got.
That's what's up, man. I haven't seen John Wick 4 yet. I have seen the trailer for that Tomorrowland, but all I will say is
Hmm.
about Keanu Reeves, and we can get started, is I cannot wait for Constantine 2. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness, man, I'm so excited.
Mm,
I'm so excited. You know what else I'm excited about?
what's that?
Because this is one of my favorite movies ever, Gladiator. They're doing a
I heard
sequel
about
to
that.
Gladiator or a prequel. I know they're doing something with Gladiator, and Denzel is going to be a part of it, bro. Oh
Yes.
my goodness, I can't wait, bro. I can't wait, man. Let me tell you something, bro. Denzel and Gladiator, he gonna put on a
Yeah,
show.
but
He's
since
going
we
to
speaking
put
on
on a show.
look, I love that. But since we speaking on Gladiator, Russell Crowe, yo, that Pope, the
Hmm.
Exorcist, that shit look alright.
The
Have you
new
seen the
one?
trailer? The trailer for that, the Pope's Exorcist
No,
or Exorcism?
no. I
No,
gotta
it's the
check that
Pope's
out.
Exorcism. Yeah, it's the
I gotta
Pope's
check that
Exorcism.
out.
That shit look alright.
That's
Wow,
interesting. The Pope got to
that
do it.
shit look
Okay,
alright.
the Pope got
And
fucking come on.
it's based on true events, like
All
his
right, hold on.
actual
Time out.
files.
Time out. Time out, man. Time out.
Yes.
Now, is the
Hmm.
Pope having the exorcism or is he doing the exorcism?
He's doing it.
Okay, I'm about to
He's
say
performing it.
because
No, he's performing it.
oh yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Because I'm about to say if the Pope getting the goddamn exorcism, it's a problem. Something ain't right. I'm about to say, come on, man. Shit,
Nah, he's performing it, man. It's
you
actually
can't
based
get a
around a
goddamn
real
Pope and
dude.
have an exorcism. So okay, so this exorcism must be bad. They got to get the Pope.
Yeah,
No, yeah, I
yeah.
gotta
Like
see
this
this.
dude, I think it's based in the '80s, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I definitely got. Let
But
me tell you something. If it's one thing I love critiquing religious movies.
oh
I love
yeah,
it.
when you say that, yeah, like yeah, you had fun with Stigmata
Oh man, what
when we did that shit.
Stigmata,
Yeah,
Dogma, all them joints. Yeah, like them. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
that's what's up.
Cause it's just certain shit, man. You just it's certain shit you learn about certain shit, and you be like, hmm. That's why I think like Angels and Demons, the Da Vinci Code, you know what I'm saying, like all of them. I think that's why I was so
Inferno.
into that as well. Yeah, Inferno for sure. I even read the book. I read the books before I even not Da Vinci Code. I seen Da Vinci Code, then I read the book, then I read the other books, then watched the movies. But yeah, I was super into them because of Robert Langdon and I forgot the writer's name. It escapes me. I apologize, but he definitely did his fucking thing when he wrote those books. Um, all right, man. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. All Day and the Night. Starring Jeffrey Wright, Isaiah John, Yahya Mateen Abdul, or did I say it right? Is it Yahya Abdul Mateen?
I think so.
I don't want to
Yes,
disrespect.
yes, you're right. You're right.
Is Abdul Mateen?
Yeah, the second.
Okay, yeah, Yahya Abdul Mateen the second. Shout out to Yahya, man. That's my dude, man. The fact that my man played the black man is fire, bro. But and a host of, I forgot what Jacor's name was in real life.
Ashton Sanders.
Yeah, Ashton Sanders. Shout out to him, the main character. So this is basically a movie about a young man who has made a decision in life that has put him behind bars. However, while he is in jail, he uses his time in jail to kind of reflect on the decisions he's made and the decisions that kind of led up to him being in jail. Also, while he's in jail, he meets or he connect
What he was saying was he cut it out, but he reconnects with his father, and because his father had ended up committing a murder, and so his father ended up getting locked up, and so he ended up being locked up in the same prison as
Mhm.
him. And like he was saying, he reconnected with him, but he did have some beef with him.
Yeah,
But with his father already being in prison, he was able to get him more accustomed to the prison life and
right.
actually talks to him about how he made a mistake with him. Don't make a mistake with your next son. But
Absolutely.
well, with your son, excuse me. So
Yeah, so this was a very interesting choice from you. And the reason I say that is because you told me that it had a connection to Snowfall, and I didn't understand what you had meant at first. I thought we was gonna be talking about some shit where a nigga was just selling dope, blah blah blah. But seeing Isaiah John in this, I understood what you meant. Shout out to Isaiah John because he does a great job playing a gangster, which he's also played in Barbershop as well. He had a small stint in Barbershop where he played a gang member. Um, but this movie was good. And the reason I say that this movie was good because this was the first one I've seen to where this wasn't like a redemption story per se, right? Like usually we see these movies where like a dude get in trouble and then he faces it in court and he ends up getting out and doing better, blah blah blah. Like this one was where it was a redemption story as far as him actually being in the situation and accepting his situation and taking accountability for what he's done, but also um while doing that reflecting on why he's in the situation to begin with, but trying to be the best man he can in the situation in the process, if that makes any sense to the people listening. um it was a deep movie, but it was also a good movie because you realize that the not only do the decisions you make kind of put you in these situations, but also the environment that you grow up in also puts you in these situations. At the same time, it also teaches you that you don't necessarily have to be a victim of circumstance. You can make other decisions to get out of that and grow and what I'm saying, move on to better things. What I found super interesting about Jakor, the main character, was that he was into making music, and that
Mhm.
was that. It looked like that was going to be his way out. Um, and he ends up falling in love with a girl who is. Let me tell you something about this woman, man. Fine. I'm talking about primo. This woman was beautiful. You hear me? She was. I mean, I don't know her name, but goddamn, she was good. She was. Oh my goodness, finger licking. Okay. Um.
It was Shantae.
Yeah, Shantae. No, I'm talking about the real lady's name. She was. Oh my
Oh,
goodness, that woman is beautiful.
Shakira Payne, a pie,
Yeah, Shakira.
whatever.
Man, listen, ma'am. You are amazing. Okay, inside and out. I don't know you, but you are amazing. Um, but you know what I'm saying. He ends up falling in love with her. He ends up getting her pregnant. They end up, you know what I'm saying, basically having on their way to have a child.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. You just saw her in something that we just did.
What?
House party.
That was her.
That was Mika.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the cousin.
Oh
She was the
well, yeah.
cousin.
Well, you ain't really see Mika like that. But
Yep.
respect, because I mean, Mika was still fine.
Yep.
But no, like yeah, like this woman is she's oh my goodness, man. Um, they should have had they she should have been more in the movie, but the movie, like I said, man, the movie was great because you see the life that Shakur is leading and going through. But you kind of, I mean, Jakor. I'm sorry, I said Shakur. Jakor is going through, but you kind of feel sorry for him because he's trying to be the best person he can be, and he's not involved in really any street. In the beginning, he's not really involved in any street business. He's cool with the street people, but he ain't really involved in the street people. And what I thought was dope too was the fact that they didn't make Yaya's character Stunner. They didn't make him like pressure him into it. they
Hmm.
they had him like kind of reel him in, but it wasn't like no pressure. Like nigga, if you don't do this, then we gonna kill you. Like it wasn't that, which I thought was dope because usually that's how it pans out, right? Like usually it's a dude that's going through something that ends up running to some guy like Stunner, and Stunner like, look, man, I can help you out, but you gonna have to, what I'm saying, you got to do something for me too. So I know, what I'm saying, we both in this together. And to me, I think Yaya played a great character as well because Stunner was pretty much that dude in the hood who you knew he had it. Everybody knew who he was. Everybody knew what he did, but he took care of the hood as well. And TQ, played by Isaiah John, was great as well because he was that best friend that was like, yo, you gonna come in with me? And he like, nah, and he let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's real life. That's usually how it be. Like, you got that one friend that's always like, come on, man, you like, what's up, man? Let's make this money. And he like, nah, you man, whatever, man, you playing anyway, nigga. Let's get back to it. So to me, this was the more realistic version of what that life is really like. And I think that the acting was phenomenal. They all did a great job. Jakor playing the troubled person, the troubled youth, and going through what he's been through with his father. Then at the same time, going through what he's been through with his mother, and then at the same time, just trying to find his way to be a man. Also dealing with the fact that he lost his best friend. Well, not lost his best friend, but his best friend had went through something that he wanted to make better, but he couldn't make better. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like his only way to really deal with something and make himself feel better in the end at the end of the day was through anger and violence. And he didn't really have a father to show him any other way. And I thought that was a brilliant way. Jeffrey Wright, let me tell you something, bro. It I don't know what this dude does in anything that he's bad at. There's nothing I've seen this dude that he's bad at. Jeffrey Wright is amazing. Um you talking about a performance. Jeffrey Wright put on a hell of a performance. Both ways. I'm talking about from the jail time to the flashbacks. I mean, that dude's my MVP for this movie, bro. I'm sorry, but he got it, man. But this is your choice of the movie. What made you pick this one per se?
Okay, so all of the points that you made, very valid, very good. Like I say, you are like a straight up professional with this shit. But what really drew me to this movie, and the reason why I really wanted to do it on a podcast, was because of when Jai was narrating this movie, he brought up two
Hmm.
points, and he brought them up multiple times. The first
Yeah,
point, I really want to get on the second point, but the first point was he was like, for black people going through slavery, we learned how to survive and not how to live.
yeah,
That
that was
was a
deep.
very interesting thing to say. But the second thing is what I really wanted to talk to you about, which I brought up on the coming soon, was the fact of him saying, like, does this shit have anything to do with genetics? And what he said was
Hmm.
his grandfather locked up, then his father locked up. And even though his father was
Hmm.
locked up at a very young age, he ended up getting locked up for the very same thing that his father was locked up for,
Right.
but in different circumstances, but
Yeah.
same results. And how he was narrating and saying like, "Yo, you look around in here, you see fathers, you see brothers, you see cousins, you see uncles." And he was like,
Hmm.
"This is like, when you out on the streets, you wondering like, yo, where the fuck did everybody go?
Yeah.
Boom, there here they are." And
Right.
I thought that that was a very interesting, deep thing. And I've always wanted to have an in-depth conversation with somebody about it because his father was, and really, this movie goes full circle because
Yeah.
of the reasoning of why he murdered the person that he murdered.
Hmm.
Um, but my question to you before we get into that is, do you believe like, and I'm gonna throw something out there. I don't think that it's gonna be, because it's something that you spoke about before. I can't remember exactly which pod we spoke about this before, but you mentioned it before, and I probably should have talked to you about it beforehand. But
Nah, we good. We good.
you you lost your father at a young age, which I believe
Yeah.
you spoke about it
Yeah.
on a pod before. And
I think that was on Stolen Time actually.
it might
Yeah.
have been. I can't
Yeah.
remember
It was
exactly
Stolen
where.
Time.
But okay, so like I wanna, like, obviously the first question still stands. Like
Hmm.
genetic, like, do you think there's a genetic thing? But the reason why I brought your father up is like, I was also wondering like, is there times where your mom is like, yo, like you're just like your dad, or like you
Absolutely.
do this like your dad, or you sound like your dad, and even though
Yeah.
you lost him at a young age, genetically you're still him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that whole conversation about like, do you think that, well, what he said, I think that this shit is, genetics, that we end up being in the same place, same time, all this type of shit. Like, how did you feel about that?
Okay. So the first question, right? Like, is certain shit genetic? Um, I believe that certain things are genetic, right? Because um, from what I know about genes and DNA and just practices in family in general, and traditions and stuff like that. Like, even if you think about just something as small as being a parent, right?
Mhm.
You laugh all the time where you hear people say, "Man, I'm becoming my parents." You know what I'm saying? I'm becoming my
Mhm.
mom. Or I'm becoming my father. I catch myself at times where my son would be doing something, and I'll say something my mom used to say to me. And I
Yep.
laugh in my head because I'm like, oh man, like this is must be how she felt, right? Like, oh man, like this is it. Um, and so you know, are certain things genetic? I definitely think so. What those things are, I can't speak on that because it's a lot that I disagree with, but it's a lot that I also agree with. Um, but as far as like me being in a position of where um me being in a position of where I've heard people say like I'm my father's child, or what I'm saying, like I've done things my father would do, or what I'm saying, you do this just like your dad. Like, so growing up all my life, like I've had to walk in my dad's shadow. Like I lost my dad, for people that don't know, I lost my dad 8 months after I was born. And unfortunately he got shot while being at a club defending my mom's honor. And so like I've had to literally walk in his shadow since I was a child, so much so to where I've literally had to um accelerate my growth and being a man, right? And for people that don't know, or for people that haven't been in that situation, or are just oblivious to it, like for some kids they had to grow up fast. And so for me, um me having to grow up fast wasn't a thing of like my mom was poor and I had to go sell drugs and shit like that. It was more so just the fact of on my dad's side of the family, because I reminded them of him so much, and because they missed him so much, that I was kind of put into that position without really being properly prepped for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to learn how to be a man on my own. I had to literally um and it's crazy that you asked me this question, bro, because I literally just talked about this with somebody. But I literally had to learn how to be a man on my own, not just for myself, but for my sister and my mother as well, because um I grew up with a stepdad, but like we didn't really have the same connection that a biological father and son would have. We more so just had that connection of a stepson and a stepfather. But as I grew older, I grew to appreciate his presence more. Um, and at the time where I was coming into manhood, it was like a double loss because he ended up getting incarcerated. And so I literally had to learn how to be a man on my own. Like, so when I tell people that, I literally mean it. Like, so from the time of 13 to 14, I had him. And then when I turned, like, after 14, he was gone. And so, like, through high school, I literally had to be a man by myself. I had other people around, like mentors and uncles and cousins and stuff like that. But it's not the same because they're not the ones in the household with you. And they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't take up that mantle of father, right?
Hmm.
And being in that situation, like not being able to have him to talk to, and then also not being able to have your actual father to talk to, shit gets hard. And you know what I'm saying, like I had friends who had their fathers around all the time. I had cousins and shit who had their fathers around all the time, and seeing them being able to do stuff with their dad, or kick it with their dad, or just anything that like I looked at and missed out on, it kind of bothered me a little bit. And so, you know what I'm saying, like I grew up with anger issues. I grew up with, what I'm saying, certain problems. I my emotional um cognizance wasn't really there. And you know what I'm saying, even though I still had my mom, even though I still had my dad's family, and some my mom's family around, it still wasn't the same of having a father present, or having a father figure present, right? And then on top of that, you also have to be able to do everything possible to be able to make sure your sister, who, what I'm saying, that's her actual dad, make sure she's okay, because she's too young to really understand, or you, in your mind, she's too young to really understand what that means in the grand scheme of things, right? That's so I think he was away for like 4 or 5 years. So that's 4 or 5 years that he's not there for her. So I
Hmm.
had to take that place as far as being that quote unquote father figure. um at a time to where I didn't know shit to what it was like to be a man. And so to see Jakor have to go through what he had to go through, I kind of seen some similarities there. Like the whole anger thing for me was a big thing when I was, you know what I'm saying, especially when I was younger. Just, anytime somebody said something that didn't sit right with me, yeah, like I fired off on them. You know what I'm saying? Like especially when they would say shit like some your daddy or your daddy da da. Yeah, I'm firing off on you instantly because nigga, you don't know shit about me. You don't know shit about my dad, so you don't got the place to say that. So seeing Jakor do that, I instantly connected with Jakor. I knew what he meant, right? And then having a friend who went through some shit, like how he had, I think his name was Lamarck, and him going through the shit that he went through being in the military and coming home and going through that. I had a friend who died young um in a car crash. And you know what I'm saying, like we was real cool. I went to a camp and shit, and we was real cool. And like the next day, we come to the camp. Him and his little cousin ain't there because they died in the car crash, and that fucked with me early because it's like shit. It felt like death would follow me through life, and
Mhm.
so having to deal with shit like that, it you know what I'm saying, it becomes a thing where anger seems like the best option because you feel so relieved, even though you're not really relieved, but in the moment you feel so relieved because it's like the way I feel right now, I don't feel like that no more. And so as I grew older, I had to find other ways to do it. So like when I tell people like I did yoga, I did meditation and shit like that was shit that I was finding on my own, and that shit actually helped me. And so I still meditate to this day. I don't do yoga as much as I should be doing it, but that probably helped me out when my back be fucked up. But um, like I still meditate and shit. So like whenever something happens, like now I'm the most pessimistic, peaceful person you'll ever know. But the reason, and even passive to a point, and the reason that I'm that is because growing up, I was so aggressive, I was so angry, and I was so hurt, and I was so mad that you know, it was just anything. Anytime somebody fucked with me, I knew like, yo, if I beat your ass, it ain't nothing you could say. Um, and then the blessing to me was my children. I ended up having children and learning that you can actually be just like what I'm saying, Jakor's dad told, or just like JD told Jakor, like, yo, you can be a blessing to this child like I wasn't to you, or what or I wasn't able to be to you. And so once I had my kids, that's when I kind of really like grew up. That's when I had to figure out what manhood was. So not only did I have to figure out how to be, what I'm saying, the father, because I knew how to be a parent because I had my mom. I had to learn how to be a father, you know what I'm saying? I also had to learn how to control my emotions and control myself so I'd be able to teach them in the long run and in the future how to do that as well, to be something that I never had. And it becomes a difficult thing. Like you and then, you know what I'm saying, with Jakor's situation, you kind of well, I kind of understood everything that he was going through because he never had those lessons. He never had somebody to teach him how to change his brakes or change his oil or fix his car, or you know what I'm saying, change a tire, or if somebody make you mad, just walk away, or you know what I'm saying, to take care of your woman and stuff like that. So I just tried to, you know what I'm saying, become everything that I knew I didn't have. And even when like even the situation between Chantel and Jakor, and they was talk, or Chantel and I forgot what her name. It's Chantel, right?
I think so.
So even between them two characters when they sitting in the
Shantae. It was
hotel,
Shantae.
Shantae, I'm sorry, Shantae. So even between Shantae and Shakur, I mean Jakor, when they talking and they having that conversation, they in the tub, and she like, I'm pregnant. And he excited though, right? Like, so because that's how I felt.
Hmm.
Like when I found out, I was excited, but I was scared too. But I was excited, and so You know what I'm saying? You see that and you like, man, this is dope because this is one of the portrayals of not just a young man, but a young black man being excited about having a kid. Not, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I wasn't trying to get it wasn't none of that bullshit. It was like this nigga was geeked. He like, yo, she like, what I didn't know how you was gonna react. He like, what you mean? Like, I'm gonna take care of that shit. And so it was dope to see that in that moment because you don't really get to see that on film a lot. But you knew that he kind of felt that in that moment, like, yeah, like I finally get to make a difference. I finally get to make a change. And unfortunately, his path didn't lead the way it wanted to. But you could tell, like, in that moment, he was genuinely saying, like, yo, like, this is the chance that I get. And eventually, later on down the line, he finds out that, like, JD, you know what I'm saying, was kind of in the same boat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when we see the scene eventually when, like, JD is holding him as a baby, we find out that's kind of the same thing that JD was on. But yeah, like it was tough, man. I'd be remiss to say that it wasn't, you know. But I'm one of the many few who, you know what I'm saying, came out and did what I had to do. It's a lot of people in my situation. I've had cousins that was like brothers, man, who lost their lives, not just to the, you know what I'm saying, to jail, but to gun violence and everything else, drugs as well. And I've seen them go through, you know what I'm saying, their situations and not having their dad around. And the crazy part was their dad was alive. You know what I'm saying? They was able to talk to their dad and they didn't, you know what I'm saying, like piece it up with him or whatever the case may be because of whatever resentment or anger that they felt for him. And, you know what I'm saying, they ended up losing their life or going to jail or, you know what I'm saying, being addicted to something. And for me, it was like, yo, I didn't want to go down that path because I knew that in the future, bro, I had so much more waiting for me. And you know what I'm saying? A lot of that is because of my mom. A lot of that is because of my grandmothers. You know what I'm saying? They always looked out for me and they always told me how great I was. Even though at the time I wasn't doing shit. I was a kid, but they knew that, you know what I'm saying, later on down the line there was something there for me. And you know, you kind of feel for Jakor because even though he had somebody like that, he lost her too. He lost his grandmother, you know what I'm saying? Grandma T, I think that was her name. Um You know what I'm saying? Like she was the one that was always there for him, you know what I'm saying, trying to teach him a different way, always trying to be there for him. And eventually he loses her and he's stuck with his parents who, for the life of them, as much as they tried their best and did everything that they could, they just could only do what they knew. You know what I'm saying? They were products of their environment and you know what I'm saying? He was just also a product of his.
I mean, this is very true. And first of all, two things. Number one, we didn't rehearse this. Had no idea it was
At
gonna go
all.
this way. Number two,
Yeah, at all.
thank you. I appreciate you sharing that because I think,
Ah man, anytime.
like, I will say this, and then I get to the movie. But like, that's why when Charlemagne the God is asked, when people ask, "What is the best advice you can give somebody who's starting a podcast?" Be you because nobody else can be you, and no
Mm-hmm.
one else has your story. Nobody else can tell that
Absolutely.
story the way you told it because that's your experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes this podcast unique. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So appreciate that. But like I feel everything that you're saying. And like even when you would watch Jakar in certain scenes, like even though like you said he hung out with dudes from the streets, but he wasn't really like street like that, but he was with the hood dudes, like when they was doing a robbery, like he would do robberies. Like they would rob people, take their
Yeah.
jewelry, take their money and stuff like that. But there was a scene where he was robbing. They was on him to take TQ was robbing some dudes, and this dude said something smart about coming back to get him, and he beat the shit out of him. And you look at
Yeah,
Jakur's
TQ
face, he's
wasn't no
like,
hoe.
yeah, yeah. But Jakur's like, yeah, I ain't really with that necessarily. But
Yeah,
and then like
he was like, nigga, I just wanted to get the money.
yeah, he's like, I just want the money and the jewelry. Like I wasn't really trying to beat a man, pistol whip man a death. And
Yeah.
it's just like he was caught in this really fucked up position, and then like I do like how they was going back and forth with the film.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like there was a scene where he it really kind of all rolls in together. Like he got he got beat up at school,
Mm-hmm.
and dad, we all I went through this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Well, it was just really that I had got into a fight outside. You know what I'm saying? Just basically went home, cried to my mom. She beat my ass. I'm talking about just like my dude got his
Wow.
ass whooped. And my mama made me go
Yeah.
back outside.
To
Back
fight that
outside,
motherfucker.
go find a dude to fight
Yeah.
this motherfucker. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like 9 or some shit. So that's like one of those things. Like
Real quick
I
though,
don't know.
before you
Yeah, what's
finish,
up?
real quick. But I think that's a testament of when he made that statement in that quote of slavery taught us how to survive and not to live, right?
Yes.
Because that to me is a universal thing amongst black parents, especially mothers, especially single mothers, right?
Yes.
When they're raising sons, is yo, if you come home crying, you come home and you know what I'm saying, you get beat up, I'm gonna whoop your ass, but you better go back out there and whoop their ass because we ain't doing
Exactly.
no punks, we ain't doing no soft, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Because me, I feel like it's a defense mechanism of the world is going to constantly beat you up. You cannot run home crying every time. You have to go out with your chest out. You have to go out strong because if you don't, the world is going to eat you up. And as much as what I'm saying, as toxic as that is and as fucked up as that is, I think we don't realize that in that time it was the truth because
Hmm. And he went out again, but like he's 100% right because one thing about like slavery and growing up with black parents
I'm
is the
sorry.
fact of like, no, you straight. I was keeping it rolling for you,
I appreciate it.
but like it's that I don't want to call it. It's to us it wasn't child abuse. You know what I'm saying? It was just more of like that was a way of life. It's like this is the way to get somebody attention. This is the way to to show you difference between right and wrong. But at the same time, when you think about slavery, this is the same tactics that they used to get black people to do things that they wanted. So
Yeah,
it's
but
like a
but also like you got to remember that like a lot of times like through everything that's went on through Jim Crow, through slavery, segregation, and so many other different things that we've had to deal with as a people. Like even in the '80s when they started doing Section 8 and all these food pro. I mean, well, not food programs, but food stamps and all these other shit that they would or government assistance, quote unquote, that they would give to these women in these situations. The thing was is to keep the fathers out the home, and so since the father couldn't be in the home, you a woman trying to raise a son into a man, you can't because you're not a man. So the thing is that people will see their father every now and then and not be able to have that, saying that balance in the house. And so she would do her best or whatever her interpretation of being a man was to her son. And a lot of people say, well, that was abusive. That was it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not. It was toxic, it was abusive, it was all of these things, but at the same time, it was what she knew to be able to teach her son how to survive in an environment where he can be a target at any time. And a lot of times we like to think that that was something, bless me. A lot of times we like to think that that was something of the past, but the truth of the matter is that it's something that is a constant in this society, right? We've seen for years, and especially recently, because we've had social media and we've been able to look at cell phone footage and everything else. We've always seen black men get either abused by the police or gunned down by the police or what I'm saying, overpowered by the police, to the fact of if it wasn't, I'm sorry, if it wasn't for a lot of these black mothers, and if it wasn't for, um, you know what I'm saying, them taking the stand, and if it wasn't for a lot of these black women, a lot of us wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Their strength and the things that they've had to do, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be a lot of black men out here today. And so because of them, we were able to survive, and they taught us the best way that they knew how.
All right, so he went out again. So he's making a very, very great point. And where all of this coexists with this film
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that there was a scene where I was getting to, like, so like his father had beat his ass for that or whatever. Mom was like, yo, you doing the shit too hard or whatever. And so then there was some other shit that happened.
Yeah.
So his mom's and JD got into a huge ass argument. And so like he's like all in her face and shit, saying like, you're not gonna talk to me like this way, say blah blah blah, all this type of shit. And he was like, Jakor, like, let's go, let's get the fuck up out of here. So they sitting in the car, and like he's sitting there smoking, you know what I'm saying? He's drinking and shit. And the wild part is, you know what I'm saying, he had like a liquor bottle or whatnot. He gives it to his son. Now, at this time, Jakor is only probably like 11, 12 years old, maybe 13.
Yeah.
And so he took a swig of it or whatnot, but it was what he was talking to him about at that time. Like the first thing he said was, he was like, yo, like I've been out in these streets too long for a woman to talk to me that way. And then he was just like, then that's when he got into the whole shit of like, yo, like basically, like it's my fault. He was like, once you get into the system, he's like, you can't get a job. And so then you trying to go out and get a job and nobody give you a job. And then when you try to get assistance from the government because you have a record and you don't have a job, they won't let you get any government assistance. So the way that his father, JD, was coping with it, and I think that JD probably in the very, very beginning of raising Jakor, is that I think that he was a good father. But what ended up happening is because he ended up getting locked up, and because he couldn't get a job, and because he couldn't get government assistance, and he had to go out and sell drugs, but at the same time of him selling drugs, he became a basehead in the same sense. So what he ended up doing was to get his mind off of, because in his mind, the only way to be a man is you have to provide for your family. That is a lot of things that you are being told as a child, is that you have to provide for your family and you also have to protect your family. And I think that because that he felt that he couldn't do those things, that's when he really turned to drugs. Okay. So he had that conversation, and that was what Jakor was going through his head. And I think that was one of the things to really get him to change his mind about fixing his relationship with his father. But then at the same time, like I said, how Jakor ended up in prison had to do with his father. So there was a scene where he was at school, and this girl comes up to him while he was playing baseball or whatever, whatnot. And she just basically like, yo, like your dad is a crackhead. And he was like, my dad ain't no crackhead. And she was like, yes, he is. He buy his drugs off of such and such and such and such. So when he leaves school, he walks up the block and he sees his dad, you know what I'm saying, black Cadillac, buying some drugs, and then he peel off. So he walks up to the drug dealer. And like, keep in mind, he's like 11, 12 years old. He goes to the drug dealer named Malcolm. And he's like, hey, he's like, JD that just pulled out, or whatever he called it. He was like, yeah, he's my best customer. He was like, well, look, that's my dad. He said, well, will you stop selling drugs to my dad? He was like, man, that's my best customer. He's like, you crazy. So he just walks off. Well, Malcolm ties back into this whole thing is he sees his homeboy, TQ, talking to Malcolm. And when he started working for Big Stunner, like all he was doing was really just, you know, really just hanging out at the house, just basically keeping an eye on things and basically watching Stunner cook or whatever. So when Stunner was complaining about Malcolm, Shakur was pissed off because this rapper dude that was known in the hood, Thuggish Tex or Trex, like he was trying to get him to listen to his music, and he didn't want to listen to it. So then finally, when he gave him a chance, so he played him two of his songs, and he was just straight being a hater, really. You know what I'm saying? And so he's being a hater or whatever, whatnot. And I love his response by just saying, like, yo, like, you ain't stopping shit. Like, I'm going to continue the shit. Like, I don't need your approval to tell me that my shit is good or whatever, whatnot. But he never liked the dude. So anyway, so he was really pissed off at that. And also the fact that Trex had showed him a video of his baby mom basically had like this porn like circulating throughout the hood. So he goes over, breaks up with his girl. He breaks up with Shantae because there's a video of her fucking all the dudes in the hood. So he's pissed off about that. And so now what you were talking about earlier with his anger being built up, when Stunner asked him to put some work in on Malcolm, he was like, yeah, like I got you. So he went in there, shot Malcolm, shot the girl that Malcolm's baby mom while the daughter was there. And that's what he ended up going to jail for. So he's been holding this resentment towards Malcolm since he was like 10, maybe not 10, like I said, maybe 11, 12, possibly 13 years old. He has held this resentment all this time. And that was his revenge to finally kill Malcolm. It was that, yes, he was angry, but at the end of the day, it was because of he asked Malcolm to stop selling drugs to his father. And Malcolm told him no, because he's my best customer. So this movie, man, but it also has a betrayal story in it as well, because with TQ being cool with Trex and being cool with Malcolm, and like he was throwing little hints out there, like, yo, like I got some shit going on, like I got some shit in the works. You know, there was a scene where he was telling him, yo, don't come to the party because there ain't nothing there for you. And the reason he didn't want him to come to the party was because he was fucking with Malcolm and Trex. So then when he ended up getting sent upstate, he was hearing through this one dude. There was this one dude in the prison that kept trying to talk to him. And so he ended up telling him about some of the shit that he was hearing in the hood. So when TQ came into jail, when he went up to him, he acted like he was cool, but he had a shank with him, and they go to shank each other at the same time. And that's when he realized, like, yo, like this dude, he's really not, he hasn't been my dude the whole time. Like this dude that I grew up with that was my friend, he ended up betraying me basically really over some bread. So that's what I think is another interesting thing about this movie, man. That was a tough scene to see, man. And then, like I say, he was very smart about having two shirts on that day because he ended up getting the first one bloody, and then he was able to just take that shirt off and throw it on top of him or whatever, whatnot. But but my guy, he's having a lot of audio issues. But while we got him on the screen right now, man, I guess we could go ahead and jump into the Fire Flames. Jump into the Fire Flames, man.
All right, I'm gonna try to do it before I get kicked out again.
All right, so he got kicked out again. So, like I said, y'all, we're just having some audio issues right now. It's all good. We will figure when we get this thing going. So Fire Flames, I'll play it for you.
Yoga Fire. Yoga Flame.
All right, you go first since I got you for this quick second.
All right, five.
He was able to get the 5 in, but all right, man. I'm gonna give this movie for what it was. I'm gonna give this movie. I think the actors was really good. I think everybody played a well part. Like he said, Jeffrey Wright really was the MVP in this movie. He gave really the best performance that was given in this movie. So shout out to Jeffrey Wright. I'm gonna give this movie a 4.5 for what it was and the message that they were trying to send us with within this movie. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the coming soon.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right, so what we got for y'all? Y'all know it's the second episode of the week. Man, we got season 6, episode 8 of Snowfall. We're coming towards the end. Look, man, I'm very excited for what we got in store, man. When it comes to Snowfall, man, it's just we all know that there are only episode 8, 9, and 10. We got 3 episodes left till they close this thing out. I think that if y'all are fans of this show, everybody got to be excited because this season we've been talking about it. The writing has been sensational, has been phenomenal, but we got Scoots going in and out. We're having a lot of technical issues today. He went off again. So for me, y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and on Twitter at 28 minutes or less pod. That's just on IG. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less. Last episode is episode 119 still, where I did the judge. So go check that out on all major platforms. Follow Viewers Anonymous at View Anon Pod. That's just on Instagram and it's on Twitter. We got the community page on Twitter. Go check that out. Be a member. Also check out VA Podcast Watch Group. That's on Facebook. Join that page to become a member. Scoots is back. I already gave the Viewers Anonymous tags. Man, give you a personal before we jump up out of here.
At Scoots Bronson on Twitter.
He's out again. So y'all, I appreciate everybody for listening to the podcast. And I want to be able to get our tag before we get up out of here. He's having a lot of technical issues over there. But get a tag before we go.
Scoots Bronson on Twitter.
All right. And what do we say when we leave?
That's a wrap.
Cut.
God damn it.